Hey guys, I'm back with Sector 4 for this Conquest series. So I've been taking my time kind of making my way through the sector, and I just want to show you everything that I've kind of done to sort of work on these feats that are in the sector and both globally, and sort of give you an idea on what to do, go over the bosses, which are very interesting and a little bit annoying. So we will get into that, and I want to show you the feats first like usual, and then we can look at the actual footage. Okay, so this sector is honestly probably one of the most straightforward sectors other than Sector 3 in my opinion. Defeating 50 enemies with Imperial Trooper units. I was very worried about this feat, but it seems to be okay. Both with my account and Professor X, who doesn't have a fully relic Imperial Trooper squad. So I just want to preface that now before we even get into it. And then you need to win 14 battles 2 times. One of them is with no attackers in your squad, and one is with a full squad of rebel units. So I'm going to show you several teams for those. You can actually double dip on them, which is really interesting. But we'll go over that. And then you need to attempt to inflict evasion down 40 times. And this is going to be a pretty easy feat to also get done while you're working on the other sector feats or even some of the global feats. So that being said, let's look at all of the footage and we will go over it. Okay, guys, so the first one I want to show you is a no attackers team. This is probably one of my favorite teams to use for no attackers, and it is a Padme lead team. So you really want to have Zealous Ambition discs equipped for this, just because it's going to make the team hit so hard. So Padme, Grandmaster Yoda, R2. I like to take GK with her as the tank, and then also Shaak Ti. So basically you have Padme as a support. You have 4 support characters here, and then GK tanking for you. And because you've got the Zealous Ambition discs equipped, they're all going to hit so hard. GK, unfortunately, is probably not going to get any kills because Padme and Shaak and R2, they're just going to steal them all. But it is hands down one of my favorite teams to use. And like I said, this is only going to get you the no attacker team feat. So we have to win 14 of those in this sector, but you'll be able to make your way through. I probably wouldn't have picked a first order team next time, but it's pretty straightforward just because they do hit so hard with that Zealous Ambition disc. So you can see Padme just ends up going through and wrecking characters, and GK did get a kill. So you're able to work on both theoretically. If GK lands a kill, you can get that global feat done as well. So that is the first team there. Okay, and then I want to show you another no attackers team, and this is also going to double dip for your global feat of needing a full Jedi squad to get the win, and also your General Kenobi kills. So you're going to work on 2 global feats, and then the 1 feat in this sector of no attackers. So this is a ton of fun personally. It's just a straight Jedi Master Luke team, and then you are going to call General Kenobi each time to assist so that he can land the kills essentially. You just sort of work your way through. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to speed this up. What I do like about facing this enemy team in particular is Nute is going to revive once you kill him the first time, so you can theoretically land another kill with GK on him. And you also have Watt there, who could potentially revive characters if you kept him alive. So you can see he revived Magna Guard. So if you keep him alive, he's going to revive the characters, and you can keep killing them that way. So it is helpful when you are trying to get these kills in, when you have a team that does have a revive mechanic on the other side. So definitely keep that in mind. Another thing you could do to this team if you wanted to, you could easily replace Hermit Yoda, for example, because really he's just there for like the foresight and kind of keeping everyone alive. But if you really wanted to, you could add Old Ben, and Old Ben has evasion down on his basic. So if you just used him to basic a few times as well, you would also be working on your evasion down at the same time. So this is a really good plug and play in terms of working on multiple feats in Sector 4, but also multiple feats from the global section at the same time. So definitely one to keep in your back pocket, especially if you do have Jedi Master Luke. He is getting a massive workout this Conquest, as per usual, to be honest, but he really does make a lot of these feats pretty simple and sort of easy to manipulate in a way. All right, so you can see we've 3-starred it, so we're good to go, and we can move on to the next thing. Okay, so I'm just showing you guys here. I only have one of each, no attackers and rebels. So I want you to see that before I show you this next one. This team will get you both a rebel win and a win with no attackers. So if you want to do it, you can. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I personally, I don't think this will work if you don't have Zealous Ambition discs. But essentially, Raddus is support and Cassian is support, and everyone else is a tank that you're bringing with him. So you have no attackers with him, and Raddus and Cassian are going to be the ones that kind of do the heavy lifting, so to speak, because they're going to get the boost from Zealous Ambition. And realistically, it is going to be Raddus. So this is really good if you do have your Raddus geared up a little bit. It does not matter if your characters die here. So I just want to just let that sink in. So you can see with Raddus's AoE, he just kind of knocks everybody out, which is a little bit ridiculous, to be honest with you, but it's just because that Zealous Ambition disc makes him hit so much harder, and everyone around him is dying, which is fine, because once we get to 100 stacks of, I think it's Hope or whatever, Spark of the Rebellion or whatever it is that it's called, we're going to be able to use that ability from him and revive everyone. So I honestly, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have picked a Nest team because it's a little bit annoying, but it is working in my favor in terms of drawing the battle out so that I can get to this 100 stacks. So here we get everyone back. Everyone does have protection, which is annoying, and I personally did not 3-star this node. You could theoretically do it and 3-star on a different node. I personally don't really care if it's not 3-starred. I usually do more feats than node cleanups in my own planning. But we've gotten the win, which is really what matters here. And you're able to get a tick onto no attackers and full squad of rebels. All right, guys, so let's have a look at another one. This is another rebel team, and it is also going to work for you to get, it's not 501st, but it is going to work for you to get a full rebel win and as well evasion down. And it's your classic CLS team. So they are not taking advantage of Zealous Ambition because none of them are support. But we've got the full rebel team, but then Chupio's basic has evasion down on it. And that's what we really want him here for in particular. So what you'll notice when I do this team in particular in this sector, I don't use Chupio's AoE. I don't use his blind. I will only use his basic, and obviously him calling to assist, he's using his basic and he's landing that evasion down. And we're able to really just pick up a bunch while we're making our way through even just one battle. So you can see here, once we get back, I'll show you my evasions down. And I had 0 to start and we were at 8. So 8 from one battle isn't too bad. You're obviously going to get more on a different team like Nest. Okay, so this is your trooper kills, guys. So this is pretty fun. So this first trooper team I want to show you is on Professor X. So this is not my account. This is Professor X's account. He does have 3 Zealous Ambition discs equipped. So, which is important to note because every trooper on this team, other than Dark Trooper, is a support. So we're not going to get the no attackers feat, but we are going to get trooper kills, which is really what we're doing this for. If you wanted to, you could use a different trooper instead of Dark Trooper. That was also a support. And they're hitting so hard because of the Zealous Ambition that you could take advantage of that. I personally just wanted to make sure I landed the kills with Dark Trooper, which is why I chose to take him instead of double dipping. So just something to remember when you're doing this. So like I said, this is on Professor X. They're not all relicked, and we're able to just go. And a lot of it is the Zealous Ambition, making the other 4 troopers hit pretty hard. And then, of course, Dark Trooper does a lot of the heavy lifting himself, just with his punching. So you can see we got the full 5 there, and that was against a Grand Inquisitor team, which is pretty good if you don't know what to do against one there. So this account now is my own, so I'm going to use my own troopers, and we're going to go against the Nute Separatist team. So I only have 1 Zealous Ambition disc equipped on my account right now. I do have a Volatile Accelerator on, and I've got 2 Ruthless Offense. So nothing too crazy. But again, this is a really good Nute team because you've got the Brute who would theoretically revive if you let GBA revive him if you wanted to. So you could get an extra kill. Nute is going to die twice, so you can get an extra kill there. And Watt is there if he wanted to revive anyone, he could. So it's nice in that regard that you're able to farm a few extra kills this way. But it does go pretty quickly. I personally don't care about Cleansing Extortion. And I chose at the end to take the sure shot on Geobrute Alpha because I didn't want him to just die from the dot, which is why I killed him. Just to get the extra 1 tallied in my favor. And you can see, so that one gave us 6 because we had the revive happen. So definitely good to keep in mind. All right, so we are still on my account, guys, and we're going against this Mon Mothma team. I'm still going to use my troopers. So again, on my own account with just the 1 Zealous Ambition equipped, they're at 90% stamina, so they're not 100. But I do want to show you this because I am going to run them down a little bit more just to kind of give you an idea. So pretty standard Mon Mothma team. The reason why I wanted to try Mon Mothma is because Scarifable Pathfinder will revive if you kill him with a buff. So you can get an extra kill here as long as you kill him with a buff. And sometimes you can get multiple shots on him repeatedly. So that, again, was at 90% stamina. I'm going to go right back in, and I'm going to do it again on a Mon Mothma node. So we're up to 11, because obviously we didn't get the credit for Mon Mothma because she just escapes. So you get the 5 from there. And I'm just going to go right back in, honestly, on Mon Mothma again, and they're at 80% stamina. So again, I just want to show you that I am taking them in. Not necessarily at 100%, so they are a little bit weaker in that case. And like you can see, they're going first. They're taking that first turn, and we're still able to go and then start the turn meter train and keep going from there to kill them slowly, essentially, or quickly. So overall, I definitely really like using the troopers. I was pleasantly surprised to see that they worked so well, especially against Mon Mothma. And you saw there that Scarifable Pathfinder revived a couple of times, so we got a couple extra kills on him that way. Okay, so let's have a look at the mini boss, because this is going to be pretty fun in my opinion. So the first one, we have our typical no Jedi, Sith, or unaligned Force users, and then Darth Vader surviving. So obviously that means we're going to have to do this battle twice, because Darth Vader is obviously a Sith, so that will not work for us. This is on my own account, and I just wanted to go in with a full scoundrel team because I knew this wouldn't be any, obviously, Sith Jedi or unaligned Force users, as long as you don't take Kat, of course, because she counts. And I wasn't too sure what to expect from the boss. I obviously hadn't tried it yet. They do have the endless ranks stacks on them, so they are going to revive after you kill them. So I thought maybe Boba could be helpful in terms of ability block, his rocket could be helpful just to kind of kill them quickly. And then obviously dash here is who we really wanted because of the AoE. So overall, I mean, these enemies aren't that strong, to be honest with you. This would be probably a really great node to farm kills off of as well, because you've got the endless ranks, so they're just going to keep going, or keep reviving, I should say, so that you get some extra kills in as well. But overall, even though they are taking turns, bam, dash, Chewie, they're just making their way through, and we can get the credit for winning without any Force users, Jedi, Sith, etc. So pretty straightforward, I think, in my opinion. And like I said, I only had the one Zealous Ambition disc equipped at this point as well. So something to keep in mind. All right, let's do this again, and we're going to go with Vader surviving. And I thought what would be fun would be to use a full Empire team. So I like Palpatine lead because we can just fuel so much turn meter to him this way. Especially because I do have a volatile accelerator still equipped at this point. So I am going to be putting some dots out and getting debuffs on there to fuel that turn meter gain. And then we have Mara Jade to take away their turn meter with her stagger. So I thought that would be great. Obviously you have to take Vader to survive, but he's also going to be really great here in terms of killing them quickly once you get those debuffs on him and using his Culling Blade. So he's going to be able to survive. But the key, in my opinion, was honestly being able to remove their stagger, or remove their turn meter with stagger. And then we would be able to slowly start whittling away at them. And then Palpatine is going to be able to start stunning them. I did want to have a tank, pre-taunting tank, just in case, which I would highly recommend if you do have a weaker Vader. And Sith Empire Trooper works really nicely. He's who I like to take as a pre-taunting tank. Just my personal preference, and obviously it worked with the synergy here. It was just a good flow. So you can see we still have 4 endless ranks to go on this team. So it does take a little bit of time to kind of chew through them in a way. And then Thrawn is really great, obviously, for Fracture, but the turn meter swap makes it really great to kind of keep your own turn meter train going, because you can strategically pick to go to Mara or Palpatine, etc., and get more debuffs out there, keep your turn meter train going, keep them stunned so that they're not taking any turns, and that's going to be a key to keeping your Vader alive, especially if yours is a little bit weaker. You really want to control them. The good news is they don't hit very hard. These troopers you're not facing Dark Trooper, you're not facing a Piet or anything like that that's going to really mess with your day. You're not facing a Gideon who's going to take away your turn meter. So it's just about keeping them stunned so that they don't hit you back, and you're able to control them that way, and you'll be able to win with Vader surviving and 3-star it, hopefully, at the same time. All right, so pretty straightforward on the mini boss. Probably one of the easier ones, just because of who the enemies are and that they just don't hit very hard. All right, guys, so let's have a look at the final boss. So we're facing Grand Inquisitor with a team of Inquisitors. And again, Jedi, Sith, unaligned Force users, very standard, but then Kanan and Ezra have to survive, which is going to be extremely interesting, but they also have this failure is not an option modifier, which essentially means that every time you kill somebody, the rest of the team, the rest of the Inquisitors will gain 50% health and protection back, and reset their cooldowns. So they will take a little bit longer to kill. You need to manage them. It's not the most fun. But let's do the no Jedi, Sith, unaligned Force users. Grievous, I have found Grievous Nute in particular against Grand Inquisitor works really nicely. Essentially what you're going to aim to do here is get target lock out on the board as quickly as possible. So I like to strip the buffs off of them. We've got some target lock out. We want to get as much as possible on there so that we can stop them from gaining any bonus turn meter. And that way we can just kind of pick away at them. So we had no choice, obviously, but to kill 9th because she was taunting. And you can see that they gained their health and protection back. And we're just going to go through. And again, I'm just focusing on trying to keep the target lock on them, making my way through. And then you can see we don't have a choice. We have to kill somebody and they gain health again. So it is a little bit tedious just because they do kind of regenerate their own health and protection back. So you basically have to do the same amount of damage over and over again. I wanted to get rid of Grand Inquisitor as soon as possible. And then I just kind of wanted to get this target lock out there and keep going. And it's honestly pretty smooth. This felt like a normal node to me with a Grand Inquisitor node, not a boss, is what I will say about, even with the modifier on them. Grand Inquisitor, or Grievous can handle Grand Inquisitor very well, in my opinion. Okay, guys, so that is that. I will show you the discs. So again, pretty straightforward. Nothing that on here that is crazy overpowered. A white Zealous Ambition, and that's it. So let's do Kanan and Ezra surviving. And you're going to see mine are very weak. So I think you will be okay with this. I did swap my discs. So I have a blindside on, I have a Ruthless Offense, and a Fortified. And then I stacked more Zealous Ambition and Entrenched on because I wanted to have more survivability and damage. So Zealous Ambition and Entrenched, 2 Entrenched, and 2 Zealous Ambition, just to kind of give them some more survivability. And then I also put a Tethered Tech on here. So this is what I used. It was 15 Conquest currency. And this is going to give them all ability block at the start of the battle. I wanted to do this because the couple of times I tried beforehand, they were killing Kanan way too quickly. So I'm going to go with Jedi Knight Luke lead. I'm going to take Jedi Knight Revan because he's got a heal, he's got a savior mechanic, he's got marked, all this fun stuff. Shock is support, so she's going to be able to hit harder. She also has a cleanse, she has a heal. So my main focus was trying to heal as much as possible so that Kanan and Ezra didn't die. Okay, so they're all ability blocked, which is great because they're going to only basic, which hopefully is okay. So you're going to do Jedi Knight Luke's special ability right away to kind of call everyone and then stun. And then what I wanted to do here was I didn't want to heal because I obviously just had. I wanted to get rid of Seventh Sister if possible because she assists when the Inquisitors are attacking. So if you could get rid of her, it was ideal. Cleansed all the purge off with shocks for a special. And then we are going to go after Ninth Sister because she's taunting and we can't get around her. But again, I do want to get rid of Seventh Sister as soon as possible. I did choose to heal whenever I could, even if I didn't need to. I wanted to make sure I had full health and as much protection on the Phoenix guys as much as possible. And just kind of, making my way through. I'm going to heal Kanan to give him some protection back. And again, Ninth Sister's taunting like crazy, so we have to go after her. Anytime I could use Jedi Knight Luke's leadership ability there to call like the mass assist, I chose to do it. It cleanses, it heals, it gives him a full turn meter to get his turn going. It just felt like a really good way to control it. Anytime I could cleanse, I was cleansing. I wanted to keep purge away from the Inquisitors as much as possible. And then obviously anytime I could heal, especially with shock because she does give the protection back. And I was almost always doing it on Kanan because he's weaker. So he is gear 8, remember. Okay, so this was tough because they were all going to take a turn. So I chose to kill Grand Inquisitor anyway. It was the safest option, I felt. And then this was when I realized that it was probably going to work. This was after about 4 or 5 different tries of teams, and this was the most consistent and smoothest that wasn't just an epic failure after 30 seconds. So they can survive. You saw it. They're gear 10 and gear 8. All right, guys, so that is it for Sector 4. I just want to reiterate again that obviously these are the teams that I'm using on the 2 accounts, and I think it's really easy to tweak them to make them work for your own account as well. Particularly like the Imperial Troopers, you can add Watt to them to kind of give them that little boost off the start to make sure they get to take a turn. A lot of these defeat 50 units with X faction can be, quote unquote, cheesed towards the end of Conquest after you've finished all the factions and you put on a frenzy tech, and as long as you're timing out. So keep that in mind. You definitely want to be using your consumables while you're making your way through the sectors, and even using them when you're going back to work on some of these feats, because they're going to make it a lot easier for you, particularly if you have weaker characters or you really need to feel like you have to stretch your roster or anything like that. Make sure you're taking advantage of the consumables. So don't forget that we get them as we're making our way through and picking up the rewards along the way. Definitely keep that in mind. Definitely look at the wandering scavengers before the bosses, the mini boss and the final boss, because they also have consumables there that you can buy with your conquest credits. I personally don't buy a ton of them because I do find that we get enough in the reward track, but it's definitely good to keep in mind, especially because I did use a consumable this time. I needed it to get that feat. And if spending 15 conquest currency on a consumable, or if you already have that consumable on you that you need, gets you the feat done, then absolutely use it. So that being said, we will do Sector 5 tomorrow, and then we will be done. And we can kind of just sort of work our way through tidying up all of the feats, getting it done, and hopefully getting to that red crate, which I think is very doable this time. Thanks, guys.